that pops up that you're not expecting. You could probably mute yourself until that. May not. We're going to go ahead and post this later, though. So that will be great. Okay, well, I will get rolling then. Opumikontowi, everybody. My name is Jacqueline Ross, and I am from the Undergraduate Admissions Office at the UC Davis campus. And we would like to welcome all our student and family guests today, and also welcome our distinguished panel of resource people, and I will introduce them to you in just a minute. We are broadcasting live from the Native Nest at UC Davis, the Native American Academic Student Success Center, and that beautiful long name is why we call it the Native Nest here. And our director, Michelle Frazier, is part of our panel here and also running controls for us. First, we'd like to acknowledge the land and the people of this area. We are in the Wintun Nation, particularly in the area of the Patwin people down here at the Davis campus. And that great nation extends up to the northern parts of California. Close by, we have the Yochadihi people, and then up near Colusa, we have the Kachildihi people, and then up in the Cortina area, we have the Quetzaldihi people. And they've all been wonderful friends and guides for us in this area and participate in some of our programs and give us tons of support. We're very grateful for them and grateful to be in their territory. Close by as well, we have Maidu Nations and Miwok Nations. And indeed, California has a plethora of tribes indigenous to this area of Turtle Island. And we also have a lot of good people that come in from other tribes who may have been here for a while or who are even new to the state. So we welcome all of you far and near and hope to meet you soon. We do have this wonderful panel with us today. And we're going to have them, ask them to introduce themselves a little bit, give us about a 3 to 5 minute overview of the work that they do. And then we have some questions to ask them. And a concept to have, students, is to think about how you're going to build your team at college. It is a little less set for you, I would say, than high school is. You actually get to choose some people that you want to interact with. And so some of these good folks that we have today have been just amazing resources and guides for our current students. And they will speak broadly to when you should check in with them and how to use advisors and how to use faculty and how to use program heads and counselors and so forth on the campus. So with us today, we have Dr. Beth Rose Manning. Maybe you just wave, Beth Rose. Just like do a little hand wave when you get in there. Thank you. We have Lynn Fowler from the Internship and Career Center. We have Mary Jane Andreas from the Cross Cultural Center, who also runs our powwow and related cultural programs. We have Dr. James Letts, who's in biological sciences, and we have Tracy Thomas, who is our community counselor here and works at the Nest, and we have Michelle Frazier, who is director of the Native Nest. And I neglected to mention that Dr. Manning is the director of Native American Studies. So in that order, if you don't mind, the order that you probably see yourself appearing on the screen, would you please give us a quick 3 to 5 minute overview of the work that you do on campus? Dr. Manning, we could start with you.
All right, thank you, Jacqueline. Grateful to be here with you all, and thank you for that introduction. I am the chair of Native American Studies. It is a big responsibility and an honor to serve in that role. My work is focused on California in particular, but also more broadly, tribal environmental policy, land and water stewardship and reclamation initiatives. I work particularly on legal and political angles to support return of land and water to tribal jurisdiction or indigenous stewardship. I've written a couple of books on these topics. One is about native land trusts. Another one is about the history of the North Fork Feather River and efforts to transfer lands back to Maidu people in that region. And let's see, I was born and raised about an hour or so east of Davis in Miwok country near McCullamy, but my family is not from here. I'm Afro-Caribbean and Eastern European. Much of my family is from the Caribbean and then Eastern Europe, and has spent time in different regions of the US. but I'm grateful to be here with you all. I'm excited to work with the new incoming students. We have a lot of exciting initiatives and programs happening in Native American Studies, particularly this year, because we are continuing our recognition and celebration of the 50th anniversary of Native American Studies, recognizing the work of the founders of the program and building on that through bringing exciting speakers and hosting events and developing our library. So all of this is a little bit, it's not on hold exactly, but it's taking new forms given social distancing. So for example, yesterday we had our last colloquium, our big presentation by Dr. Katja Risling-Baldi, and we hosted it via Zoom and partially on Facebook Live. So we are continuing, but yet in a different form, just like today. So I'm delighted to be here with you all, and I look forward to sharing with you some of the opportunities in the department.
Thank you so much. Michelle.
Good afternoon. I'm Michelle Villegas-Frazier, Director of the Native American Retention Initiative and Native American Academic Student Success Center. I've been with Davis in various different capacities. My family is actually from Ukiah, California, so I'm home from Panolaville. But here at the Native Center, and if you stay on longer, you'll see the student panel will do a tour of the actual space. But this is a home away from home for our students, a native nest. We call it the Native Nest. So students kind of come out, they study. We also have really good study space. Students have access to computers and printers. And then we do various different types of programs that are run out of the center. So we do a program for partnering with the Internship and Career Center called WINGS, where we're working with students to get ready to graduate. We have a Native to Native program, which is our peer mentorship program. With Melinda Adams out of NAS, we run a class, a first year Aggie Connection and fall quarter, and then a leadership class in winter quarter. And then we have partnerships with our camp counselor, our cross-cultural center, with Native Studies, and the various other different programs around campus to support our students in different ways. We also, the student organizations such as ACES, American Indian Science and Engineering Society, the IHA Indigenous Health Association, and NAPA, our pre-law association, and our NASU, which is Native American Student Union, along with the American Indian Recruitment and Retention Center. So these are all 5 different student-run organizations. So we do a lot to support them. On top of that, we also do community check-ins. Well, they're called community check-ins this quarter, but normally we just have monthly check-ins and programs. One thing that we're well known for is our Waffle Wednesday. So the second Wednesday of every month, we do waffles, and we invite anyone to come over, but we want to make sure students have a good, something good to eat, and also just to make community. So this really has been a place where we have supported community, developed community. And then for those students that are new to our campus and are looking to learn about their Indigenous ways, we do provide support services in terms of workshops and identity development to help you get to work through that. So that's just kind of a quick highlight of what we do here. I would say students should join in on some of our social media. We are live on Facebook and Instagram, and that's where we post a lot of our workshops. And for this quarter, everything will be virtually. So you can kind of tag into some of our programs that we're doing.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Miss Lynn, you ready to roll?
Sure. Hi. I'm so happy to be here and see everyone's faces. I am Lynn Fowler, and I am representing the Internship and Career Center. We call it the ICC today as one of the career advisors. I'm an alumni of UC Davis and grew up with the Osage Nation in Oklahoma for a while, and then in Northern California. So anyway, I am my job is to connect with students to help you find internships and jobs. And that's really one of the questions was, how do we help you with long-term? And that's kind of each step of the way doing some career exploration. And to connect with us, I have some hours where I go to the Native Nest directly, but also you can find us at icc.edu www.ucdavis.edu. We have virtual drop-in right now with peer advisors or one-on-one advising virtually in that way. A lot of our materials are on Handshake, and once you SIR, within that next week, you'll get access to Handshake, where you can make appointments, you can look for jobs and internships, both on campus, off campus. And we're here for whatever you'd like. I know one of the questions was, what are some specialized programs for really motivated students? And it all depends on what you want too. So there's everything from beginning internships, because sometimes the problem is maybe you want to do a pre-med internship, but you haven't had experience, and how do you get that experience? So we have a lot of entry level where you just go in to a program, for example, with health related internships. It's more like signing up for a class. You can go in and select ones that you'd be interested in. And then there's not a selection process. You can get started and start getting experience and seeing what kinds of things you like. And we do that for pre-vet as well. The farm, the arboretum, lots of folks have kind of ones that aren't competitive, but certainly there's competitive ones that you can apply for as well. And every person's different, so we like to meet one-on-one if we can to help with whatever your path is. And we also have a lot of workshops and a lot of, like Michelle was saying, a lot of our materials are on social media. We do everything from career exploration to getting your resume and cover letter ready. And I recommend doing that right away so you're ready for opportunities, and don't wait. Because even if you feel like, oh, I don't have a lot on there, we can look at your transferable skills and help you build a really strong resume and cover letter. Interviews, all of the whole process of career exploration, that's what we're here for. And then we do have specialized programs like Michelle mentioned with WINGS, which is specifically at the Native Nest, to get ready for graduation, job search. Yeah, that's, we offer everything from career fairs every quarter where 150 employers come on campus to a lot of kind of being able to meet other people and find out about the opportunities that might be out there.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Lynn. Miss Mary Jane, would you tell us a bit about yourself?
Wanahu, everyone. Hello, my name is Mary Jane Andreas. I'm Paiute from the Bishop Paiute tribe, and I'm a program coordinator within the Cross Cultural Center on campus. So under my portfolio, I work to do Native American and Indigenous programming on campus, and that can look like anything from workshops, seminars, discussion circles, conferences, retreats, you name it. We also have internship opportunities. We have a powwow internship opportunity specifically. I oversee the annual Indigenous Arts Market and the annual powwow. We'll be resuming the 48th annual powwow next year. So in 2021, unfortunately, it got canceled this year. My office is within the Student Community Center inside the Cross Cultural Center. So the space is used for studying, hanging out, if you just want a place to sit. We also have a library and different student resources. We give out different blue books and Scantrons, pencils and pens and that kind of stuff. And I do have student scholar positions. So if you have work study or just need a job on campus, then we do have opportunities available.
Thank you so much. Dr. James.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. My name is James Letts. I'm an assistant professor in molecular and cellular biology. Originally, I'm from the west coast of Canada. I grew born and raised in British Columbia, and I'm a member of the Métis Nation of Canada. And so on campus, I wear a bunch of hats, as most professors do. I teach classes. I also run a research lab. And I'm also involved in the ACES that Michelle mentioned before, so the American Indian Science and Engineering Society. So yeah, it keeps me very busy. But I'd just like to say that one of the great things about a major research university like UC Davis is that there is active research going on campus and plenty of opportunities for undergraduates who are interested to get involved in basic scientific research in huge number of disciplines. I mean, UC Davis is really comprehensive in its accessibility to different research disciplines. So yeah, that's who I am, and I can pass it on.
Thank you so much. Ms. Tracy.
Well, congratulations on your admission to UC Davis. That is so exciting. What an incredible, incredible accomplishment. I just want to make sure I note that because that doesn't happen to everyone. And I know you have a lot of big decisions to make, and I know that could be difficult and stressful. So I am a CAN, a Community Advisor Network community counselor for student health and counseling services. And I work closely with Michelle at the Nest, as well as the Student Recruitment and Retention Center. And that doesn't have to intimidate you because we, as a CAN counselor, we have this beautiful opportunity of being embedded in the center so that if you're feeling nervous or homesick or scared or feeling like imposter syndrome, like, I don't know if I really belong here. Did they make a mistake by choosing me? Absolutely, they did not make a mistake. I want to assure you that you absolutely earned your right to be here, and I want to help you to feel comfortable. So I know it's hard to possibly leave your family and come away to college, and so that's what our counselors are here for, to just help you navigate all of those different stressors or anxiety or fears or whatever it is that you're going through. We can have an informal consultation where you're just meeting with me at the Nest and we're just kind of chatting about your first quarter and your roommate that you can't stand and you know the fact that you're afraid you're not going to be able to pay for all of this. Whatever it is that you have on your mind, that's what I'm here for, to just talk through. And then if you have, you know, a diagnosed condition such as depression or anxiety, there's no shame in that. And I'm here to help with that as well, in terms of counseling and therapy. So I am, let's see, my family is from the Choctaw tribe, from Louisiana, then Oklahoma, and we moved to Phoenix. And then my other side, African-American, African from British Guiana and Trinidad. So mixture of pretty much everything. And I honor and celebrate it all. And I am excited and happy to be able to serve the Native community and from all of the different backgrounds and diverse needs that you all have. Just want to say a little bit about our health center as well. We have a magnificent wellness center on campus. I mean, you walk into this building and you're like, whoa, my fees are paying for this? Because it is phenomenal. I mean, you can get your eyewear, you could get acupuncture, they have gynecology, primary medicine, you name it, that center has it. And it doesn't cost that much, especially if you have SHIP insurance. If you do not, I'm just supposed to introduce myself. So anyway, I will wait for the questions. I got a little carried away because I'm excited to help you. And I will just be quiet now. Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy. And also our friend and colleague, Melinda Adams from Native American Studies, who will be your advisor if you're coming in as an undergraduate or just want to talk about the NAS major or the minor. Take it away, Melinda.
Hi, thank you, Jacqueline. Can everybody hear me and see me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Hi, Dr. A. Hello, welcome. Congratulations to our class of 2024. That's super exciting. And I was reading an article the other day that 2024 is going to be one of the most resilient classes. So if we see that on a job interview or resume, you know, our hats are off and we're definitely aware of everything you've had to go through to get here and hopefully be on our campus in the fall. So we commend you on that and being able to hold resiliency during all of these times. It's also an exciting time because now we're getting more connected with the resources and tools that we have in the year 2020. So it's been a bit of a curve for myself as well as my colleagues, but I think it's going to be really great in providing even more services through distance learning or distance opportunities for our students, both current as well as our future. So yes, welcome virtually to UC Davis. I am Melinda Adams. I'm from the San Carlos Apache Nation in Arizona. I've been here at the University of California, Davis in the Native American Studies Department for 3 years now. And so I work as an advisor and also as a resource for new and incoming students that are Native and Indigenous. But they don't have to be Native or Indigenous to come and see me, nor do you have to be Native or Indigenous to major in Native American Studies. That's actually the number one question that I get from students. And no, you don't have to be that in order to take any of our classes or be one of our majors or minors. And so hopefully there's a little bit of time to discuss both of the degree programs, both the major and the minor. And we're also fortunate enough to have Dr. Middleton Manning here with us. So if there's anything that I miss, she's certainly available to help bridge that gap for me. And so just a little bit about what I do here as an advisor. I recommend, whether you major in NAS or not, go see your advisor. Certainly, I would recommend the very first quarter. You'll be seeing us during your orientation period, which is going to look very different this year, but we're gonna do what we can to get you advised and get you the classes that you're gonna need, and also kind of be with you throughout your journey during that first year in particular. And so I would recommend seeing your counselor during orientation as well as during that first fall quarter, so we can make some projections as to what your classes are going to look like for the first year. Because the first year, no matter how awesome you are, it's tough for everybody, both the social adjustment as well as the academic adjustment, the quarter system. It's a lot to take in. And so we definitely want to be there to help you transition the best that you can. And that's certainly what I'm here to do. So let's see, I'm also part of the Ethnic Studies advising team. And so that includes myself, Native American Studies, as well as Chicano-Chicana Studies, Asian American Studies, African American and African American and African Studies, as well as Gender and Women's Studies. And so with that team, we're able to serve our individual communities and advisement, as well as encourage you to double major in any combination of those majors. We have one of the most flexible degree programs on campus, and we also have one of the most interdisciplinary majors on campus, as well as a Native American Studies degree program throughout the nation. And so Professor Middleton Manning described her background, more environmental and policy focused, but we also have professors that are experts in history, Native American history. We have faculty that are experts in arts, visual sovereignty, as well as linguistics and language, and lots of different other things that make up the degree program. So that's interdisciplinary as well as hemispheric. And so we concentrate not only in North American, Indigenous, and Native Americans, but also Central America and South America as well. So I like to think there's something for everybody in Native American Studies, and a lot of our lower div classes that we're encouraging you to take during your first quarter, those will count towards general education electives that everybody on campus has to take. So it's advantageous to explore Native American Studies, because not only will you be getting credit towards those general electives that everybody has to take, but you also get to double dip a little bit in that those will count towards our major degree requirements as well. So I'm so excited you're here. Obviously, I have a lot to say. However I can be of service, by all means, I welcome that. And I also can pass on some items such as our degree requirements and what our faculty specialize in. That way I'm not just sitting here kind of talking. I can also show you what it is that our faculty do. So again, congratulations and welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Melinda kind of led us into our next question about as students, when should you contact these resource people, and how do you initiate that? Michelle, would you like to address how students get in contact with you?
Sure. So there's various different ways. One is always through email. And so students, I would say any student a week before they get here or when they move in, they can connect with us. We will be doing a move-in day with families. So if your family's moving you in and you want them to come see the center, we're going to go ahead and do that on one of the weekends that you are coming in. So that would be the first time. But then throughout that first week during Welcome Week, we'll also be hosting programs. The best way is online through email or through social media. And you can come in. Sometimes it's a lot of things going on your first couple weeks here. You're going to get overwhelmed, and don't feel bad if you don't come in the first 2 weeks, first 3 weeks. But we hope to see you by the 4th or 5th week. Just drop in. Lots of times we have snacks, and if you just want a little snack or somewhere to sit or coffee, I don't know if you're into coffee just yet, but eventually you will be, and you just want a good cup of coffee. Well, a cup of coffee might not be good, but it'll work. And you just want to come in and then just meet community or meet people. A lot of the staff you see on this Zoom are usually around or they're in here. So sometimes if you just drop by, you'll be able to meet students or meet staff and faculty also.
Okay. Dr. Manning, when and how should a student initiate contact with you?
Thank you. Anytime via email, as Michelle was saying, is probably the easiest way. You know, normally we are in our offices and we're holding office hours, and those are posted on a little placard outside our doors in the Native American Studies hallway. So you can come and look on the wall and see when our office hours are and then come by during that time. But email is always a great way. Many of us are having digital office hours now also. We have yet to, I think, post a link to our digital office hours on the website, but I think that's something we may start doing so that you can click there, sign up, and then meet with us virtually via Zoom. So that's kind of a newer option. Also, typically we have welcome events, we have colloquia, we have gatherings in the Department of Native American Studies. We flyer those. Melinda manages much of our social media and posts it to our Facebook page as well as our website. So it's always a good place to come and meet the different faculty and staff in the department. But all of us are here because we love working with students. So please do reach out to us anytime via email or walking down the hall when we can be back in our offices.
Great, thank you. Mary Jane, how and when should students initiate contact with you in your programs?
Hello again. Again, via email is the easiest, most common way that people get in touch with me. I also have office hours at the Native Nest once a week. So if you're in that space more often than the Student Community Center, that's a good place to catch me. I also have an open door policy. So if you catch me in my office, then I'm available and I can make time to meet with you if you have any questions or just want to know more about the resources that we provide as a center. I would say in the fall semester, the fall quarter would be the best time to get in touch with me, just so that you're in the loop on all the things that we're doing throughout the entire year. And we do have a listserv that sends out information on all the different events that we have going on and the different workshops. So if you wanted to get more involved, we can add you to that listserv and you could be in the loop on everything.
Great. James, how about you? When should students initiate contact?
So the best way to get in contact with me is, as everyone else, email. But so it really depends. So there's a lot of different ways. So like I said, I'm involved in the ACES group. And if you're interested in science and engineering, I recommend that you get involved in that in your first year, certainly, because the other students in there are a great resource for helping you with your initial classes and get kind of acclimated to UC Davis. I mean, most of the discussion is, oh, who's your professor this quarter? Oh, I had them last quarter, and no, that you gotta make sure you gotta do this, and you know, this is how you do well in that course, etc. So it's a really great resource for anyone who's doing mathematics, engineering, or any of the basic sciences, physics, chemistry, or biology. So with respect to ACES, I say get involved right away. It would be really useful for you as a resource. If you are interested in research opportunities, usually professors will take students that have some of the prerequisite courses already under their belt in their discipline. So usually it's more common for juniors or seniors to get opportunities in labs, so it's not unheard of for younger students to get involved in laboratory research as well. They just need to be willing to take on the extra challenge of the learning curve, because you're not going to have a lot of that kind of foundational knowledge to understand exactly what's going on. And you might be given a little bit more, maybe menial tasks that's still important and still contributing to the research effort, but probably not running your own research project at that point. But definitely should look into it. And if you're interested in what courses would be ideal in order to set you up to be able to do research in your junior and senior years. You should contact a professor early on and ask them, what are the prerequisites that you require for research opportunities, if any, and what courses should I focus on with respect to making sure I have the foundational knowledge in order to participate in research in my later years. And of course, that's different for chemistry and physics and biology or biochemistry as I do. But so you just want to reach out to a professor that you might be interested in early on, certainly. And then they can advise you on your courses as well and make sure you're in a really strong position to get research opportunities later on. So yeah, I hope that answers the questions.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. So Lynn, when should people start making contact with you, and what's a good way to do that?
Sure. So again, you can connect with me in the Native Nest or email or listserv, kind of the same ways everyone has mentioned. So we have specific listservs depending on what your area of interest is. But most of the time people come and meet with me. As we've been talking about, it's a little overwhelming. So it probably isn't the first few weeks you'll come meet with me. We don't recommend you get a job, for example, the first quarter. Really, it's getting academics under your belt, and quarters are fast, and there's a transition. So but sometimes it's just sorting through what the opportunities are. I feel like Davis is so wonderful because there's so many opportunities, but it can be overwhelming. So a lot of times when students are ready to start looking for experiences that might inform them about what they like or not, students meet with me one-on-one. Again, you can email or go into Handshake, and I can tell you what the whole broad array of options are to help students get to the right option that they're interested in, and then make sure their materials are good so they can have a strong application for that. So usually it's a little later in the quarter when academics are under control, and then looking at how you want to expand from there with your interests.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Tracy, when should people get in touch with you?
Anytime they are feeling stressed or overwhelmed or sad or just have any kind of uncomfortable feelings, I am available and ready. The best way to reach me is through email, of course, by sending your schedule. I don't want you to have to miss class to see me. So I will work around your schedule, but you'll also see me in the centers. I'm at your events. I'm hanging out at the Nest. Michelle will nudge you to come see me. Just go have a conversation with her. And in the beginning, people are a little bit nervous and they ask, how can I come see you? And I say, just come on in or send me an email. And then once you get to know me, people start getting very comfortable. They just walk in and sit down and they start talking. So that's the best way to get a hold of me. And there are also other counselors on the campus in every academic center and all of the student life centers, as well as North Hall and the Wellness Center. So one of the best ways to kind of see what's a great fit for you is to go on our website, which is s@ucdavis.edu. So Student Health and Counseling Services at UC Davis. And you'll see lots of different counselors in different diverse array of services that are offered.
Oh, great, thank you. Melinda, what's a good way to get in touch with you?
Like everybody else, email. Hopefully there's a chance to share our email addresses as well. Email. As Professor Middleton Manning pointed out, I also run the Native American Studies Facebook page. We have Facebook because we sometimes have parents that want to check on their students as well, just to know what kind of events are ongoing and what we can connect them with and community members. And so, like I said, the Facebook page, and I'm trying to pull up what that is. So it's UC Davis NAS. That's our Facebook after the slash. And then I also try to have a presence in the nest as well. Waffle Wednesdays are usually a good day to try to go in and connect with a lot of people on this call. And let's see, I also have a peer advisor. We're both at Hart Hall. So if you are in any of the majors that I listed previously, gender and women's studies, Chicano-Chicana studies, African-American studies, Asian American studies, then we are all housed at Hart Hall. And it's a wonderful space to be as well. And so it's right by the quad, which is the kind of center connector of the campus. And so I would advise that you come in and check out the hall. It's a nice space. It's also the home of our Gorman Museum, our Native and Indigenous artists display. And so I advise you to come in. I also advise you during your first year to try to take a lower level Native American Studies course, mainly because it does count as part of the general elective requirements for a lot of different things. And so if you can, I would advise to build that into your schedule, maybe not the first quarter, but certainly the first or second year. So hopefully you'll get to know me or I'll get to know you in that regard. So yeah, Facebook page, email, the nest, and Hart Hall. So those are all wonderful ways and avenues that I try to build a presence. So I certainly welcome any and all of the above.
Thank you. So students, all of these good people can do something different for you as far as helping you plan for the future. And so we're going to ask everybody to go around right now and answer that question. How can you help students think about their future? Michelle, would you like to lead off?
Oh man, that's a big question.
It is. Maybe you're part of it, which you do most typically.
I think I do a lot of advising with students, sometimes just having a conversation and just thinking about different options and hearing about different options. I think allowing yourself the ability to go and explore different things, but also just giving yourself some time to kind of get used to this new environment. Coming to college, hopefully it's Davis, but whatever your next steps are, that it takes time and to give yourself some different opportunities and options. And then, you know, to reach out to us in those questions. A lot of us have gone through a lot of what you will be going through and can give you some advice in terms of helping you develop that pathway into what your next steps are. So I know that's a very broad answer, but it will depend on each student and what you're coming with and what you need. And then that will change, and that it's going to constantly be this constant change. But there's lots of resources here for you.
Yeah, great. And I'll say a word about this as well while Dr. Manning's finishing her bullet points that I see her writing down over there. So I'm also somebody who got to do their undergraduate work at UC Davis. And I think one of the most helpful things is to let people know what you're thinking about, even ideas that you consider to be a bit ambitious or unusual, to talk to your advisors about that. I've had some wonderful opportunities come down to me simply because I told people what I was dreaming about, what I wanted to have happen. And I've also been on campus for quite a while, so I'm very happy to talk to students and point you in the right direction should you need that, or you have something that you don't know quite where it fits. We do a lot of good referrals and introductions and connections for students coming right in from high school, especially to link you to people on campus that could be helpful. And I've had some really interesting and fun side hustles. So I work at the Davis Craft Center on campus. I've also been what they call kind of a civic scientist, helping with a couple of PhD projects for students that have come in. So I've been able to be kind of informal research assistant to some of our students going through the PhD program. And I have the great honor of being in one of the same books as Dr. Manning when we were involved with a forestry fellowship years ago as well. So I've made the university a playground for myself in some ways, and it is an amazing place, and would love for you to get to know about some of the nooks and crannies on campus to make this not only a very educational place for you, but just tremendously enjoyable. And it is a campus that can do that for you. So I will pass it on to Dr. Manning to talk about how she can help you with your future.
Well, I really like what you said, Jacqueline, about kind of sharing your dreams and interests. When I first looked at this question, I thought, listening to students. I've sat with many students who've said, this is a crazy idea I have, but this is what I really want to do. And then finding those opportunities to plug them into ways they can look at what a career in that field would look like. So some of the ways I try to do that are sharing examples of what some of our alum are doing. Some of the students that have graduated, both undergrad and grad, we invite them back for panels. We had a really great panel a few years ago at the Native American Studies Graduate Student Conference, which is a conference organized by our graduate students in the department, where we had a panel featuring 3 recent grads who had all just recently published books. They were able to talk about what they do. They're all faculty members at different universities. I also coordinate a somewhat informal internship program. I'm not sure we've connected with the ICC, with a partner off campus, Kier Johnson Reyes, with the Intertribal Agricultural Council. And through that, we've been able to connect students to some really awesome opportunities, working with tribes, working with institutions on campus like the Arboretum to learn different skills. If their tribe or a tribe they're collaborating with is interested, for example, in restoration. We've had some really great experiences with students growing out plants from their homelands and then going and planting those plants, working with different tribes, their own or other tribes. So that internship program has been really helpful. Also, I try to integrate some sort of experiential component to all of my classes. Sometimes it's going out on field trips or site visits to do something with people out in the community. We've been out to the Tending and Gathering Garden a few times with wonderful hosts there on the steering committee, some of the elders who care for that place. We've gone, to participate in learning about how to do cultural burning on lands by Yosemite. So with that experiential learning, students have the opportunity to collaborate with people in different communities, to learn about how what they're learning at the university may be of service to different nations that they want to collaborate with in the future. So there have been some exciting opportunities there with kind of broadening our circle on and off campus so that students can see what's possible and where the needs in different communities or interests connect to their interests as students. Also, I wanted to mention, following up on something Dr. Letts said, that our university is so interdisciplinary. So if you're interested in biological sciences and ag or bioscience literature, you can do both of those things. And you can also do them within Native American studies in the major or minor. So I do a variety of interdisciplinary projects because my degree is in environmental policy. I'm within Native American studies, and I collaborate with faculty around campus through the John Muir Institute for environmental studies and other programs. So I do try to open doors for students who are interested in making connections and doing interdisciplinary and collaborative work. So thank you. Excited to work with you.
Yeah, thank you. And now, Mary Jane, you probably do a lot of talking and listening to students as well. And I'm remembering, I might be erroneous in this, but I'm remembering that your research had something to do with this from when you were in school also. So how do you help students dream about their future and articulate their plans?
Yeah, like most people said, conversation is a good way to start. If you want to stop by and have a conversation with me, we can discuss your goals for your time within the university and beyond. We also provide, like I said, internship opportunities as well as student scholar positions if you need a job on campus. We also host many professional development workshops, seminars. We have a few retreats and conferences on campus as well throughout the year. And then we also have fun things like de-stressors, movie nights, meditations, and stuff like that.
Great, thank you. So James, how do you help students get their dreams in shape? How do you help them move towards the future?
Yeah, so in very similar ways, conversations, a lot of those conversations happen at our ACES meetings, where the students can help each other and get input from faculty as well with respect to scholarship applications, with respect to CVs. Of course, it's more people who are interested in more scientific careers, but that can be either in academics or in industry as well. But there's lots of opportunities on campus to get experience. Yeah, so, through ACES, we do a lot of that. but also if you're interested in getting involved in research, if you're interested in a research career, getting involved in research as an undergraduate is a huge opportunity to build your CV, and you'll have access to those opportunities at UC Davis for sure. And I'm happy to discuss that and help and help you, position yourself really strongly to be able to get into a research lab on campus. The fact of the matter is there's a limited number of labs on campus, and there's a limited number, limited amount of space in those labs. So there's generally more students interested in doing research than can be accommodated at any one time. But if you come and talk with me early on, I can help you get yourself and your CV together to make sure that you're well positioned to get a professor's attention, and just even advise you about how to write that initial email to the professor to ask for if they have openings for potential research positions. And I can be very happy to help with that.
Great, thank you. Now, Lynn, this is your runway. What do you do for students in this regard?
Wow, what a great question. So really the first step most of the time is career exploration. When you get to university, there's so much more than you could have ever known, so many different careers and paths. And I think it's not linear. A lot of things are linear. It's kind of like this, which can feel scary, but it's really exciting. And it means that sometimes opportunities come up you didn't know about. And so a lot of it's listening in one-on-one meetings to find out what you're thinking about, and then giving the options of what the opportunities are out there. And it's really fun. We're so lucky to be at Davis because there's so many opportunities. It's more kind of trying to narrow it down. So we do everything from those one-on-one meetings to a lot of career exploration where we, like people were mentioning, we might do a panel and I might bring in like 5 different state departments so you can see what is it like to work for the state, and you can compare and contrast and find out, does that seem interesting? A lot of times you want to pick the smallest thing possible. If you're thinking about that, you don't have to dive in and do a whole internship. Maybe you can talk with someone for 10 minutes and find out, we call it an informational interview, and find out more so that you can be efficient with your time and have great conversations with people. We can recommend those people. And then, we do panels, we do treks. So we even take students to employers. We do a 3-day trip each fall and summer, an ag trip. I specialize in ag and environmental sciences. So it's no cost to students. We take you for 3 days to the Salinas Valley or Yuma if you're interested in ag, and you get to meet with 20 different employers and see all the aspects of ag, because maybe most of us don't know all of those pieces, even if you think you might be interested. So we do trips, one-on-one panels, like people are mentioning, all to get more exposed to what's out there and what's possible, because sometimes you don't know what's possible yet, and you find out about something else and you want to swerve and check that out, and then and that's what we're here to do, is help you kind of pivot. Sometimes you find out what you like, sometimes you find out what you don't like, and that's helpful too. It's all good information. So all of those are opportunities available to students here.
Great, thank you. Tracy, how do you help students when it comes to guidance and thinking about their future?
Yeah, I think about when you say your future, it's a big question. And these students, I know that a new student just came on board. Jacqueline, welcome. You all are so brilliant and amazing. Sometimes the research and the opportunities that students come into the nest talking about, it's like, wow, I wouldn't have even thought of that. They're so creative. And which means the world is completely open to you, the entire world. And that can produce some anxiety, in terms of, well, how do I choose? And one of the biggest things that I help students through in the Native community is, how do I balance that with my family? Can I do this and go back home when I graduate? Sometimes my family expects different things of me because they've never gone to college. They don't know anything about it. And so they assume that I'm going to be rich the day after I graduate. That's not going to happen. Or they know of the typical careers, doctor, lawyer, and a lot of our students fit into just a whole range of careers. And I think what I help students do in terms of is just identifying who you are and who do you want to be in consideration of your values, all of your values. What's important to you in terms of your family or finances or where you want to live and how you want to work. And that's unique for everyone. And what I help them to do is develop the courage and the acceptance that comes along with picking a career that is most suitable to you, but not necessarily always something that everyone else agrees with. And that can be uncomfortable. It could be something that makes you feel anxious or afraid. And what I help students do is to overcome that fear and tolerate that anxiety, because the biggest reward on the other side of that is becoming your most authentic self, the person that you were truly meant to be. And I think that's where the most fulfillment comes in. So I'm just a mirror. When students come in, I ask a lot of questions. I get to know what their interests are and what their fears are. And we just kind of work it out together. And hopefully they come on the other side of it, on a path to doing something that they really want to do, and accepting that that path, as Lynn mentioned, is not always linear. It's not always quick. And it's going to have some bumps and rides. And how do you get through those bumps and rides? Through a lot of coping techniques.
Great, thank you. Melinda, how do you help students shape their ideas towards the future as an advisor and maybe as somebody who goes through that journey yourself?
Right. So one of the very first things we talk about during orientation is what is it that you want to do, or what is it that you think you want to do post graduation? I know that's a big question to ask, and one that might scare a few people, but it's important for us as advisors to just have a general idea of what the student wants to see once they're done. And we understand that that can change, but we also want you to understand that that can change as well. I think it's normal for us to think that a person comes in with one intended major and changes 2 or 3 times, and that's perfectly fine too. My job is to make sure that you're taking the classes that everybody needs to graduate, so that you're having these explorations in laboratories, as Dr. Letts alluded to, or experiences that Professor Middleton Manning alluded to. So we want you to explore as much as you can. That way, once we get towards junior or senior year, you have a little bit more solid foundation of what it is that you feel like you're going to be able to do once you're done. One of the second most asked question that I get is, what can you do with a degree with Native American Studies? And my response back is, what can't you do with a degree in Native American Studies? We have so many alumni doing so many different things. This past year, we had graduated a student who was taking classes in Native American Studies, and she has now been applying to medical school. So we have somebody that came through Native American Studies, and now they're on their way to medical school. So that's one of the more amazing stories that I have. We also have people that do community organizing. We have people that work in for the State Department, in politics. We have people that are in wildlife and conservation biology. So really, when I said earlier, there's something for everybody, there's literally a lot that people can choose from, and something for everybody. So again, my job is to kind of walk step by step with you, at least meeting with you once a year. More often during your freshman and sophomore year, just to make sure that, again, we're on track with classes, we're on track to graduate, and we're on track in thinking about career opportunities. So most recently this past year, I held I called it a bridgeway or pathways to after graduation, because it's important for us in Native American Studies to start to have those conversations sooner rather than later towards graduation. So that way, once our students get an idea of what it is that people with a degree in Native American Studies can do, we're bringing those people back and they're passing on that knowledge to our current students. I think that's been particularly powerful for the past couple of cohorts that we've graduated, because now they have an even better idea of what they can do with this degree. So certainly I'm all about double majoring. Our degree program, again, is unique because it's 64 credits, and that may not mean very much to you right now, but what that basically means is that there's a lot of wiggle room within Native American Studies to take on another major. And I'm an advocate for balancing those things. So I come from a scientific background. So one of the things that I can advocate for in being in the humanities is that we need that balance. We need that history class or literature class or a visual sovereignty class in order to balance the chemistry and physics and trigonometry and lots of different quantitative classes. So it's good for students to have that balance at least dispersed between quarters and between years. So I'm a big advocate for that. So why not come and take classes to lead to a Native American Studies minor or one of our minors in our ethnic studies as well. So again, my job is to talk about career exploration. My job is to talk about degree exploration. So all of those things myself and a lot of different people on this phone call can help you with. But I too am an advocate for exploring what you have while there's so many opportunities here at UC Davis. Thank you.
So thank you so much, everybody. And thank you, Melinda, for that great answer. You all have given so much richness and good advice today. And if any of our students want to hear it again, or if you have friends or family that you're like, you know what, this explains a little bit about what's up in college, please feel free to share the recording with them. And we'll post that, I would say maybe by tomorrow afternoon. So that'll be up there. And I want to thank all of my distinguished colleagues for giving of yourselves today and sharing information. What this pointed out to me too is that we might benefit by popping a glossary of terms up on the Native Nest website, because we use some terminology that our students may not be completely familiar with yet. So we can grow that out as well, so that you know a little bit about what's going on, like what is a CV, that kind of thing. So we'll walk through some of those things. I didn't know either at age 17, 18. So we'll provide some of that for you. And so we will say so long for now with love to all of our panelists. Students, if you want to hang out for a couple of minutes, we will start the student panel in about 3 or 4 minutes or so. Okay. So thanks, everybody. Thank you so much, colleagues. And I look forward to seeing you in person and sharing a cup of coffee or tea and a waffle pretty soon.
Bye.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yes. Okay. So for our students that are online here, just like hang on to us for just a sec. Okay. We're bringing our students in. Oh, there's Maria Louisa, one of our upper division students, getting ready to leave us before too long, unfortunately. And Anika with the hi there with the blanket behind us. We're all in, so some of us are in different rooms in the Native Nest here. And Michelle is going to start off with a bit of a tour in a minute. Oh, we're going to say hi to Alex as well. Hi there, getting everybody connected. Beautiful. So about 2 minutes. Good time for a bio break if you need to run and take care of anything or get yourself a beverage. Everybody get comfortable. We're kind of down home today, but we are recording as well for students that didn't get a chance to be on the call. So keep everything family friendly and welcoming for everybody. We also, one thing, Davis students, one thing that we realized in the last session is that we slide into using terminology that our high school students may not always understand, okay? So if I hear some of those terms, if I can slide in there and ask you about them, I will. Otherwise, I'm keeping a side list And we'll pop up a bit of a college glossary for our students to look at when they come in. Things like, what is a CV, and the difference between qualitative and quantitative and that kind of thing. So, and then what does interdisciplinary mean? Some of those terms.
So Jacqueline,
Yes.
a colleague of mine, Noel, will be joining us today because he's going to be doing something similar for the API community next week, just to give you a heads up.
I did wonder who that handsome person was, just bogarting there in the corner. Nice to see you, Noel. Nice. Welcome. Okay, great. So it is 4 o'clock, and we do start on time around here. So we're going to give it a shot, and we might have a couple of other students pop in for us. And I'd like to welcome a couple of our high school students that we can see on screen. We might have some other people on the side who aren't on screen, but we'd like to welcome Kiana and Jacqueline, who've both been accepted to UC Davis for the fall. And so we offer our congratulations and our welcome to you. My name is Jacqueline Ross, and I'm Pomo and Coast Miwok from Marin and Sonoma counties, which is about an hour north of the Golden Gate Bridge, if you're trying to imagine that. And we are coastal peoples. My family's a fishing family, and come from beautiful, beautiful area up in Lake County, which is like the largest natural lake completely within the state of California. And they ended up on the flatlands of Davis for my schooling. So it was a big environmental change for me, hugely different than the place that I grew up, completely different demographics, everything. And I really loved it here. And one of the things that I enjoyed most that was almost a complete surprise to me was the intertribal nature of our student body here. It's like how many different places we come from and how beautifully and harmoniously we can interact together, the things that happen, the great conversations, sometimes a little bit of the family disputes over different things, completely different takes on where we've been and where we're going. It's all really valuable. I feel like my mind opened and my heart opened to many different issues on campus. And we are broadcasting today from the Native Nest, which is the Native American Student Success Center here on campus. It was the house of the first chancellor at UC Davis, or I should say the first chancellor's residence at UC Davis. And so it is actually a house. And this is our Center for Students. And Michelle Frazier, who is our director, is going to introduce herself. And I believe she's going to take us on a quick visual tour with her laptop. Is that still the plan, Michelle? Oh, she's emerging. This is exciting for me. We're all trying to maintain our distance in the center, so we've got this really careful thing going on.
Can you hear me? Okay, so I'm giving you a visual in terms of the center. You'll see it's like a living space. We watch movies, we hang out, we study, but it has a flat screen TV.
That often has Panda Cam or Bear Cam or Eagle Cam on it. So we watch the birds and animals in their natural environment.
And then we also have space we have a computer lab, printing. It's also a good study space. So hopefully you guys are getting a good view of this. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna walk real fast to our library. Hold on. So this is our library for our students. Also, you'll see a lot of the space is just study space. Really good for people to hang out. We have quiet rooms, and this is a library. And then we're back into our living space. I'm gonna take you, we do a lot of food here. We always have snacks, coffee, like I said earlier. You'll see, we like to highlight some of the research that our students are doing. So this is an alumni, Jade Morningsky Little, who was doing research on, telegraphic format nesting success in California. People that were on earlier, Tracy Thomas, again, is right 2 doors down from my office. Then a lot of our student organizations, they have a lot of their needs here. So this is a conference room. Again, we have whiteboards so people could different learning modalities. We use those. You have another TV. But this is our kitchen. So we usually have a veggie drop-off and people are dropped off every Wednesday. And I keep on referring to coffee when I'm playing coffee machine, like a waffle Wednesday, that's our waffles. But again, it's just really, really good space that our students could kind of hang out. So for those of you guys who are new, my name is Michelle Villegas Frazier. I'm director of the Native American Retention Initiative and Native American Academic Student Success Center in Como and Belleville, which is near Ukiah, California. And I've been, I opened up the center, or we opened up the center in April of 2017. So we're about to have our 3-year anniversary of this space for our students. So that's it.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, so we have got some fabulous UC Davis students here on the Zoom with us, and I will have them give a more detailed detailed introduction of themselves. But we have Anika, we have Alex, we have Tori, we have Maria Luisa, and I think that's who we've got at the moment. So, shall we go in descending order of seniority? Maybe. Maria Luisa, could you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and your college journey?
Osio Maria Luisa Kimberly Dawadoa. Hello everyone, my name is Maria. I grew up in Sacramento area, and my hometown is Loomis, California. It's a really small town, and I now live in Davis. My major is Native American Studies, and I focus in higher ed, hoping to be a retention specialist someday or academic counselor advisor. What else? I'm Muskogee Creek, I'm Gadua, and I'm also Chicana on my dad's side, and my mom's side from Tahlequah, Oklahoma, Georgia, and Alabama. And my family now lives in South Sac and West Sacramento. So I'm really close to my family still. And I like Davis because it's small and quiet, like my small town.
Oh, great. Thank you. Alex, could you say hi and tell us a little bit about what you've been doing since you got here?
So hi, my name is Alexander Garber. I'm Hopi. I'm a third year NPB major here, and NPB stands for Neurobiology, Physiology, and Behavior. I'm pre-med. And then I'm also the president of the UC Davis ACES chapter and also secretary of Indigenous Health Alliance. And ACES stands for American Indian Science and Engineering Society. What else do I do? Oh, I also was in my first and second year in BUS, and BUS stands for Biology Undergrad Scholars Program, which is like a program inside the College of Biological Science. And I also do research in the Raganoff Lab, and along with that, I actually got like a program in my first and second year to pay for my research and give me a stipend, and that program is called ADAR, which stands for Advanced Diversity Aging Research. And I think that's a lot from my school point of view. I'm from Downey, California. And
yeah, cool. Yeah. Thank you very much. Let's go with Tori. Tell us a bit about yourself, Tori.
Hi, I'm Tori. I am Yurok and Kaduk, and I'm from Eureka, California, which is where I'm at right now. It's about an hour from any of my traditional homelands, so it's pretty much the same environment, but I could show you, this is my house, or this is where I live, so that's where I'm from. My mom's side is from the village of Requa, which means where the river meets the ocean, and so that's right on the coast. It's like it's the second largest river in California, and it doesn't have an estuary. It just goes right into the ocean. And then on my dad's side, I'm from the village of Serper and also Wasek. So my family, we're fisher people, and we gather and hunt, and are dance makers and stuff like that in our days. So I'm a third year as well, and I also have the same major as Alex, except I'm not pre-med. I am interested in environmental / public health policy, but mainly environmental policy and law. And my minor is in Native American Studies. And let's see, I sing in Davis Chamber Choir because I like singing and I like music and the arts. I've been in there since my freshman year, and I do other stuff in the Native community as well, like in powwow and in the Student Recruitment and Retention Center. So yeah.
Great, thank you. Jason, would you like to?
Me and who I am at UC Davis.
Great, thank you so much. Jason, would you like to share a few words about who you are and what you're doing?
Yeah, sure. Goatsi. I'm Jason. I am Laguna Pueblo, which is in the New Mexico area. I originally live in Placerville, which is like an hour or so north. I'm now in Davis right now. Woo. Yeah, let's see. Technically, I'm a graduate. I graduated winter quarter with a BS in psychology. So I'm kind of just here trying to find work and stuff before I go to grad school. I'm the president of the UC Davis Tennis Club. I'm a member of ASIS, and I'm also the treasurer of NASU, the Native American Student Union. But yeah, that's most things that come to mind at the moment.
Great, thank you. And Anika, would you say hello and tell us a bit about yourself? There you go. I think you're muted. There you go.
Okay. Amarawa Kotna Sikra. Hello, my name is Anika Shahay. I'm from Santo Domingo Pueblo and Santa Clara Pueblo. And I think some of you have gotten calls from me or texts from me. I recognize the name, not too sure which one. But I'm a first year at Davis, so I'm the youngest one. And I'm majoring in biological systems engineering. So I think, if anything, like I know about the dorms, the most recent and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, cool, great. So if we could go around in this same order, tell us what kind of student you were at your last school and how you've changed since you've come to Davis.
Okay, so I'm also a transfer student. So this is Maria again. I'm a transfer student, and I'm also a first generation student. So being first gen, that means my mother and my father actually never even finished high school, and they did not enter into college. So I will be the first in my family to graduate from even a UC here at Davis. So before I came to Davis, I was at Sierra College, which is a community college, and I was there for 3 years. I took online classes and I took classes on campus because at the time I was taking care of my niece who was three years old. And I got 2 degrees, one in arts and culture and the other one in social and behavioral studies. And I was a pretty good student. I think life has made me down the path of struggling with classes, having time to study, and having to drop classes, and I have experienced like failing a class because of my life or health circumstances. And then coming to Davis now, I've been able to have some more freedom because I live by myself with other housemates, and I don't really have family duties as much. So I can focus in more on studying, and life and my health conditions still get in the way sometimes. So I really like the university because the department that I'm in, and the faculty that I reach out to every day within my courses have been super supportive, and the NES has been super supportive. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Alex, what kind of student were you in high school, and how are you different now?
I would say in high school, I was, I think, a good student. Um, I mean, I always attend lectures, but yeah, I mean, going into it more within the academics, I think I only took like 2 AP classes, and one was in my junior year, and I got like a C minus on the first semester of it, and then a B minus in the second semester, or a B, I think. But yeah, and then I think my senior year I took AP Bio and AP Literature. I did not do good on the AP exams. I never did good on AP exams. But and I think also like I just didn't know how to study for the AP exams, and also I just didn't know really how to like study in high school as well. But as college, you learn more like different techniques of how to study, how to manage your pace, and yeah, and I think there's a lot more support, at least for me, in college and tutoring. Um, there's also discussions as well. So I would say probably like the biggest switch from high school to college was just really learning how to study and really learning how to manage my time.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, Tori, how is it from you going from, well, you had a unique environment. How is it for you going from your high school environment to Davis? And how have you changed as a student?
Yes, I did have a unique high school environment. I forgot quite often, actually. Well, for the first couple years of, well, all throughout high school, I was very dedicated to my work and my art and the other things that I did. And then the first 2 years, I homeschooled / charter school. I don't know if you have any experience with that, or if you went to a public high school or what. And then the second 2 years, I went to a public school that was our local community college campus, and I started taking some community college classes when I was a junior. And then also I took a lot when I was a senior, mostly college classes. So I kind of got a little bit of the community college experience as well. And the STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and mathematics classes started showing a bit more of a challenge for me in the community college. And so I got my first C in a math class. And then the next semester I was like, that's not good. So I shaped up, and then I got my A again. But when I came to UC Davis, it wasn't so easy just to shape up and get an A right after getting a bad grade or failing a calculus class. It took a lot of energy. I wasn't really used to that. I didn't really study a lot in high school. I just did my work and did my homework and went to class, and that was sufficient. And so when I came to Davis, it was not like that. So now I'm getting better at getting the help that I need, but I wasn't a very good student in my first year. My second year I was like okay, and like my third year I'm still okay, but every year it's like learning how to do this kind of school. It's very different from high school.
Good, thanks. Jason, how about you? How'd you change from high school or community college to this environment?
Yeah, so I had a pretty like traditional kind of like, went from high school to college, and I think the biggest change was that in high school, I was I isolated myself a lot. So kind of like what you guys were saying, like, like you kind of just did your homework, you did whatever work you had to do, and then you turned it in, and then boom, you kind of got whatever grades you got. Luckily, I was pretty good working on my own, working alone, and so that was okay with high school. But when I got to college, and things were a little bit more high stakes, and like you were saying, like, oh, like you mess up on a midterm, well, you only got 2 midterms, and they're like 20% of your grade, and there's no makeups and no homework. So it was a lot harder, and I started to learn and take advantage of the resources that they provide to you, which is like a lot of tutoring, office hours. I didn't go to a lot of office hours, but they were there, and stuff like that. But yeah, like just learning how I study, what it takes to not just know the material for the exam, but to actually learn the material for future use, was a huge thing that I had to try to work at from high school. Because high school, I was like a loner kid. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't do anything, which might be surprising to some of you since you know me as a very loud person who wants to talk to everyone. But yeah, so I think the biggest change was just knowing about all these resources and knowing that you're not alone in this. Like, talk to people in your classes. I bet you there's like half of them are also equally as confused as you are. So just talk to them, get their number, have study groups, stuff like that. Helps you through it. We're all in this together.
Yeah, true. So true. Annika, how's it been for you?
So in high school, I kind of like breezed through like classes. Like I didn't really pay attention to them. I was more about like the extracurriculars. So I was always like in a leadership position or part of a sports team or something. So school was just like a side thing for me. And so then coming to college in Davis, I started doing the same thing. Like I got a lot involved with a lot of clubs and extracurriculars. And I realized I couldn't do the same thing with my classes because the classes here demand a lot more from you. And you actually have to like dedicate your time and realize that this is the reason that you're here and not for like extracurriculars, like doing sports over your schoolwork or going out with friends instead of doing your homework, because you're just here for your education, really. That's like your main thing. And I didn't really think of it like that. I thought of it as like an experience in doing all these things. But it is that, but it's also your homework and your schoolwork is a big part of that as well. And so I had to learn that the hard way, kind of. And now I try and put my school first before I actually choose to go out with my friends or do this in this club. So, yeah.
Cool. So the next question is, what have been some pleasant surprises for you? Being a student here and, you know, in yourself, but maybe things you've also explored or learned about campus. Maria?
For me, like what has been really surprising is how many like resources there are at Davis. Like like my first year at Davis, I didn't do anything. I just like came home, biked to school, walked to school, did my schoolwork. I was in the Native Nest, and then I'm also part of Guardian Scholars or I had to go kind of myself and talk to council this year. Or then I think winter quarter actually injured my arm. I was walking from like where we get food on campus. It's called the Coho. And from the Coho, I was walking back to the Native Nest, and someone on a scooter actually hit me, and I fractured my elbow. And so that was a very big learning experience for me, and I was really surprised how many people helped me through that in the disability center. and Michelle and Jacqueline and a lot of people from GSP. And from there, I was able to get through my classes and heal from that injury. And then during that time, I actually designed the UC Davis powwow shirt. And at the graduation last summer, I was awarded the C.N. Gorman Museum Prize. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I was just so like, even though in the depths of like going through my injury and like trying to be on top of schoolwork, I was able to do something for a community, and the community saw that. And that award really pushed me into starting to get into leadership positions on campus and learning more about the institutional like ins and outs of academia, which means like how complex like getting through school is, and getting through the quarter system and stuff. So everything has been very surprising. I'm still learning a lot, even though I'm technically gonna finish up at Davis.
Wow, cool. Yeah, I didn't know how you hurt your arm, so my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see you back fully from that experience. Alex, what were surprises for you? How were you pleasantly surprised by life at Davis?
I would say the community. I didn't really expect how much I would be seeing people every single day from the Native community. And it's really bright to see people's faces every time I walk in. I have someone to talk to or make me laugh. Yeah. But yeah, the community. I would say like there's a bunch of communities on Davis as well. Like there's communities for like if you like to sing, if you like to work out. And there's a whole bunch of different clubs, and I was amazed by how much academic support I got from Davis and the different types of clubs and programs that are out there like STEP and BUSP. I was really happy that I got priority registration my first and second year from BUSP and STEP. I was really surprised by that. I was also I would say the gym, I was surprised by that because I think my first year when the gym was when we first were introduced to the ARC, they had just gone through construction, and I think this year, my third year, they just finished construction, so now it looks amazing. And yeah, I really like the ARC here and working out. And also some of the classes that I've heard are really good at the ARC that they offer. Also, the food trucks are really good. I really like the food trucks here in Davis. Shaw's, I always get that. And yeah, that was some of the surprises.
Yeah, cool. So for our new students, the ARC is the Activities and Recreation Center. So it's a huge gymnasium complex, but they have dance rooms and racquetball courts and indoor track and lots of weight equipment and nutritionists and a bunch of different things there. And we do have food trucks because students like that diversity of food. So we probably have somewhere in the area of 7 to 9 different food trucks, I think, on campus every day that are stationed in different places. So as incoming students, if you're living in the residence halls, you will have a meal plan, but sometimes you'll be elsewhere on campus and it won't be convenient for you to zip back for lunch, or you just want something different. And then as you move out of the residence halls, you can, of course, always bring your meals to campus, but you might want to try one of the food trucks as well. And they're very good, they're very interesting, and there's just a variety. So something to look forward to. Tori, what were surprises for you coming to the campus?
As I didn't mention this earlier, but I'm also a first generation student, and so basically everything was a pleasant surprise, to be honest. Like I didn't know how anything worked or was supposed to work. I had to find all these new buildings, and I don't know, I was just like, at every corner was a pleasant surprise, because the whole place is pretty pleasant, like just the trees and the squirrels, and most people are really nice. The UC Davis community in general is pretty friendly, and they will help you. Yeah, for me, the whole thing, just like if you're in the same, if you know what I'm talking about, you're in the same position where like you kind of, I had always dreamed of going to a university. That's just, I knew I wanted to do it ever since I was a kid. And I just had no idea what it would actually be like. And I didn't know anyone who had been to a university. And I never went to like, I mean, I'm isolated up here. And like my county has fewer than 100,000 people. And so I never got to visit any big college campuses. We have HSU, but that's a CSU, and I just went there for school field trips and stuff all the time. So everything I think at Davis is pretty awesome. If like you're from a similar position that I am, you're just gonna be like, whoa, this is so cool. That's my experience with being surprised. It's just like every day, something new.
Something new, yeah. Jason, how about for you? How was it? How was that transition, and what has surprised you?
Well, I can only echo what everyone else is saying. But for me, I think it was also like that type of support system that is on campus. Like the only thing that's stopping like you from doing most things is yourself. So like there's so many resources, like not only academically, but even for like, I mean, I'm a psych major, so mental health is a huge thing for me. And like, there's a lot of resources on campus where you can de-stress, you can do things. Like we have the Arboretum, which is like this huge, like huge walking path of just nature. And you can just walk through there. You can try to relax with that. Talked about the gym, you know, that's a good de-stressor. There's a lot of counselors on campus too, to help you with some issues you might be having and stuff like that. And like, just like no judgment, no nothing. Like it's just for you to go there and just help with that. So that was very nice because I went through some stuff during my time here, and it was very nice to see that, you know, you're not alone and that you're able to find help out here, like way out here. If you know, some people are super far away from their friends and families, and so it's actually it's not, don't get intimidated. It's not as scary of a place. Like you're gonna make friends. You're gonna make long-lasting connections with people, and just being able to rely on them and helping you through it was very nice to get through my college experience.
Yeah, cool. Annika, how about for you? You're still in the exploration with your first year, but what was surprising to you?
For me, one of the things that surprised me, that was like a pleasant surprise, was actually like the dining commons. So the past 2 quarters, I was living in the dorms, but right now I just moved into an apartment because of coronavirus. They gave us an option to stay in the dorms or move out, so I moved out. But I miss the DC. The dining commons are the DC. Is the place where you go to eat food when you're living in the dorms. But a perk that they give you is they give you $200 in Aggie cash. So if you want to eat something else or go to the markets that they have on campus, or these little stores where you can buy food or just snacks or whatever when you don't want to eat the food from the dining commons anymore. And so instead of having to spend your own money, you can spend the Aggie cash to buy food truck food or food for the market or something. And I think that was a pleasant surprise for me because it made me not feel guilty about like just wasting the Aggie cash on food when I was hungry. But it definitely contributed to Freshman 15. That is a real thing, let me just say. And another pleasant surprise was actually before coming to Davis, I didn't know about the Native Nest. I only found out about it on my first day on campus when I got mad about something, so I wanted to complain. And so knowing that the Native Nest was here, it was like the best surprise because I got in close with like everyone inside of the Native American community. And like even when I was moving out of the dorms, Mary Louisa, she's in the panel too. She helped me move out and everything like that. But I don't think I would have even known her if there wasn't the Native American Student Success Center. So the Native Nest is the biggest surprise for me because I didn't research into it. And so then I was just coming into Davis like, okay, gonna meet people, gonna see how this rolls out. But knowing that there was a community for me like really, really helped me out a lot, I think.
Yeah, cool. That's good to know. So kind of turning our eyes towards the academic, can you tell us how you learned to connect with staff and faculty? Like, that's not necessarily something that we all learn in high school. So how did you pick up on that, and what kind of strategies might you recommend for good relationships, especially with your faculty people? Maria, do you have any insight on that to share?
Yeah, at my community college and even at the university, I still have to learn how to communicate with some professors. So for example, there's a professor of mine that I actually like have his cell phone number, and he was a mentor of mine and helped me get through my academics. And then there's some professors to where all you got to do is go to their office hours, and that's the only communication you will get. So with professors, I think the first couple weeks and first couple days of classes is really important, and going to class every day is really important because you get to understand like what they expect of you, and like communicating through email, through phone, like in person. Some professors, like I've noticed, are super helpful with making time for you. So they're like, hey, if this time doesn't work, like just message me through email and we can meet up and talk about what you're having trouble with, or why you can't find a certain textbook, or how do I, like, because for me, when I first went to the library at my community college, I was like, okay, like how do I like find a book and like use a quote and follow the APA or Chicago style format, which is you have to have your paper structured a certain way. And in high school, I didn't even know about APA or Chicago style. And so my professor, like, I just told them, I was like, listen, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know how to like do this paper at all. No one taught me this. And she just walked with me to the library and she like showed me how to do it. And then she didn't have enough time. So then she talked to me about the library, because there's researchers there, research consultants. And so you just go up to them and you say, hey, like I'm studying this and I have to write a paper about like World War II, and I don't know how to cite certain things. And so the professors have been super helpful. And there's one professor for my chemistry, because I was a biological sciences major before I switched to social and behavioral studies. And I switched because the professor told me that my passion for community development was stronger, and that I'm more of a people person. And they really actually helped me like narrow down that I was more into this sociology of studying and policy and law. And you can still do that within STEM, but having those relationships and me actually going in and talking with them, like they have mentored me and helped me like figure out what I want to do, and also with networking and getting to conferences. So some professors, like I am totally complete friends with them, and I've had the privilege of like being mentored by some of them.
Yeah. That's a great story. Alex, how about you? Have you developed relationships with staff and faculty?
I think pretty well. I know for ACES, so like I said, I'm the president of ACES, which stands for American Indian Science and Engineering Society. And at our meetings, we have 2 Native faculty within STEM. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we have Dr. Letts, who is a molecular bio professor, and then we also have Dr. Boss, who is electrical engineering. So it's really nice just to have professors who do identify as Native American, but also within the sciences as well, and teaching 2 different sciences, and their perspective on certain stuff and their advice is really cool, yeah, and really helpful. And then I would say you get some of your you really get to talk to your professors when you start doing research with them or start doing research within their labs, and they become your PIs. And then you see like their whole entire team of so PI is principal investigator, but then they also like it goes from PI to a grad student or postdoc, and then you become a research assistant. So you're usually working with the postdoc or grad student, and from there you kind of build a communication, kind of bridging the connection between from your professor to your grad students to you. So I would say research is a really good opportunity to connect with professors and also grad students, especially if you do plan to go on to higher to grad school. So, yeah, and then yeah, that's pretty much how I connect with professors.
Yeah, cool. Tori, how about you? What did you do? What are you doing to maintain your relationships?
So for some of like my Native American, okay, so I'm going to start off with saying you can only develop the best relationships with professors of classes that you like and enjoy. Because if you don't like the class and you just like are not that maybe if you just are like complacent about it, like you don't like it but you don't not like it and you're like, oh, I don't, whatever, you're probably not gonna connect instantly with your professor because you just are gonna leave and like probably not really care to talk to them. So if I have found the classes that I really like, I connect with the professors well because we can connect and talk about the subject material in a meaningful way. So in my Native American Studies courses, connecting with professors has just been literally just answering questions in class, because sometimes people just sit there and they like don't answer questions, and so like instructors really like it when you participate. Wow, amazing, who would have thought? But answering the questions, just participating, and then so they know your face from the class and they know, oh, I know your name now, you always answer the questions, and maybe you stay after class and talk to them and like ask further questions, to show that you're really, really interested, and basically just be yourself with them, because they're people and they're trying to teach you and you're trying to learn from them. It's not like it's not.
I think we might have lost your audio, Tori. Can you repeat like the last minute or, well, are you there? Okay. You know what, Tori, I think we lost your audio. We'll circle back around to you when we can. Your screen kind of froze. Yeah. Jason, can you address the questions? Oh, maintaining relationships with staff and faculty?
Yeah. um, so, I'm not the best one to ask because if you do know me, I didn't take advantage too much of like office hours and stuff like that. I highly recommend it because it's a very good way to like, because one thing I do know is that your professors, like, they want to know when you're confused. Like they don't, well, most don't get joy out of failing you. Like they actually want you to do well in the class. And so, yeah, so like developing that relationship is very good. And also, because I am fresh off of the college market and I'm looking for jobs, professors and faculty are really good for references to have, because they've seen your work ethic, they see the stuff that you do. So like, although I don't have a good relationship with most of the professors I have a good relationship with faculty I've met. Like, I like live at the nest, so like I'm constantly talking to like some of the people, like, like Michelle that's there, Jacqueline, I know you, and like other people, and like my internships I've had. I have a really good relationships with all of my PIs and the grad students, and like recently I just I submitted an application. I had to have like a bunch of references, and I just called them up and I was like, hey, can I use you? And they're like, heck yeah, like we wanna talk so much good about you. And I'm like, yay. So definitely in the future, like making these relationships, like besides just you furthering your education with it and like, asking questions, helping your knowledge, it does help you down the road too, taking that initiative.
Yeah, absolutely. It's huge, and that's something that people told me when I first started here. They're like, you know what, you could love staff people and have good relationships, but the faculty recommendation is what makes a big difference for first jobs and also for getting into graduate or professional school. So think of those faculty people as folks you want on your team. And I think that Tori is right. If you love the class and you love the subject, it makes you more open to developing good relationships with your professors. I have had professors whose classes I didn't love, but they in themselves were such good, interesting people and very helpful on the one-on-one. So don't give up on anybody. Give them a fair shot, but it's really good to get this advice. And Annika, have you had a chance to start working on staff and faculty relationships in your freshman year, or are you still kind of feeling out the territory?
I was able to connect with 2 of my professors. So I'm part of LEADER, which is an engineering program for underrepresented, for EOP students, basically. Our EOP stands for Educational Opportunity Program, I think.
Yes.
So basically, I'm part of LEADER, which is an engineering program, and so I was able to go to a summer bridge program where I got to go on campus and experience all these things before all the students came, the first year students came. And so then I was able to connect with the professor who was in my major that they let us interview and see how they work and what they like in office hours and how they get people recommendations for students. And so then me and her, I actually took her class and we stayed friends. And even now we're still close friends. And whenever we see each other, we're just like, oh, hey, how are you? How are you? And another class, my Intro to Engineering Biological Systems 1, long. I really liked her, and I went to professor's office hours, and I always talked to her, and I always asked her for questions and everything, and she told me, and I wrote everything down, and she really liked that, so we would like start making conversations about other things, and we just became friends. But it's really about connecting with the professor, I think, rather than the TA, so instead of the teaching assistant, because the professor really knows the most about it because they're the ones actually giving the lecture and teaching about it. But I think being in contact with the TAs, the teaching assistants, is also very helpful as well. But yeah, that's so far how I've been getting in contact or connecting.
Sounds like very good patterns you're developing. So Tori, I'm so sorry that we lost like the last minute of your good advice. Do you remember where you were?
That was literally the last sentence that I was saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my internet kind of sucks up here because we just have bad internet in this area, so sorry about that.
You did get a payoff in beautiful surroundings, though. Man, what a gorgeous place Tori lives in. What an incredible county that you live in up there. So we have about 10 minutes left. Michelle, I'm going to ask you if any questions have popped up on chat or any of our guest students have raised their hand asking a question or anything.
No chats or...
No chats? Okay, so So admitted students, if you have a question, now's a good time to pop that up. Of course, you can contact Michelle or me later. And if any of these students that on the panel actually completely enchanted you and you want to ask them questions further, we can make that happen as well. Jason, you are such a ham. So we had some wonderful internships that these students have done too. And Jason, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the one where you were working with the monkeys. Could you give us a couple of minutes just talking about that? Because I don't think that's something you came into a college expecting.
Yeah, that was a interesting. So that's another thing. Like, once you start classes here, a fun thing to start doing, which is some of us are doing, is internships and like, helping out people with their research themselves. So I took a class where we took a field trip to the National Primate Center here on campus in Davis. Well, kind of on campus. It's like off campus, but technically still on campus. It's weird. I think there's only 7 national primate centers in the US, and one of them happens to be here. So I thought that was cool. It was behavioral research, which is stuff I was interested in. So I just talked to one of the researchers I saw there, and they were just like, oh, yeah, sure. They're like, we're always looking for people. And so I applied for it and I got it. And that was a really interesting, fun experience. I did it for about a year and a half. I had to wake up at 5 a.m. and bike all the way down to the primate center to collect urine samples with the TT monkeys. Yeah, see, that's the part they don't tell you about research. Some of it's, getting down dirty with a monkey, staring him straight in the eye, waiting for him to pee in your cup. But, if you want to look them up too, they're called TT monkeys, so TITI monkeys, and they are so cute. They do a little tail twining, which is basically them holding hands when they're together, because the reason we were researching them was they're one of the few primate species that they pair for life, so they're monogamous creatures. So they pair with a, mommy and daddy monkey, and then they're there forever, basically. So we were doing some research on the hormones and other stuff like oxytocin to see how it affects that. But that's a super fun experience I couldn't have gotten if I just kind of went out on a limb and just asked them if like, hey, do you need help? And they said yes. So definitely ask around. Like, you'll be surprised by like some of the opportunities you can find.
Yeah, excellent. So as a closing question, all of our student panelists today know each other to some degree, but as mentioned, have also connected with other communities, other clubs and things on campus. So as a closing thoughts, what have your peers been teaching you? What have you learned from your fellow students? Maria.
For me, I have learned to continue to ask a lot of questions and don't like, because like I'm always like, oh, like, am I smart enough? Like, should I do this? I don't know. Like, and I have this mindset of like, oh, it's imposter syndrome. So like, I'm like, oh, like, am I smart enough? Do I deserve to be at Davis? But even the young students and the grad students and the faculty like have really taught me to like just keep asking questions. So I've been doing that, and it has helped me continue with my education. Even if I hit a roadblock, I'm able to bounce back and just continue to be resilient, and because everyone here is pretty resilient, and that has definitely taught me to keep going.
Excellent. How about you, Alex?
I would say like when I was first and second year, a lot of upperclassmen really helped me with like my writing. Like it was so amazing, like so much helpful because I didn't come in as a strong writer, and they really helped me see my flaws in my writing, but also like within it, not just within academics, but also for like internships and to apply for research. They've always like helped. They were like, oh yeah, and also scholarships too. They're like, hey, like we'll help you with feedback and help it make it better. And it really helped. Like every single thing that I've applied to, where I've helped my peers help me, I've gotten. Like I've won the scholarship, I've won the internship, and I've gotten the research. So my peers really helped me get new opportunities on campus.
Super. Tori, how about you? What have you learned from your fellow students?
I've learned a lot of things. I learn things every day from my fellow students, being around them. In my first year, I learned a lot about life, like as a lot of people probably do in their first year, but probably even more than the average person because I was going through a very tumultuous time, like in my personal life, and my friends are the ones who really helped me think critically about it and to be myself and to not be ashamed or like scared of like being who I really am and who I really want to be. That's always kind of been a struggle for me, thinking that like I want to be a certain kind of person or whatever, and like trying to gain acceptance. And my peers have really just over the years showed me that like I just need to be myself, and that's enough, and that's the best thing that I can possibly do for me and for the people around me.
Excellent. Jason, how about you?
Yeah, once again, I can only echo what everyone else is saying. Like, I think a lot of it was like meeting such a like all of these amazing people, like who are just so comfortable in their skins and being like, hey, like just being who they are. And like definitely when I first came to college, like my first quarter, like I didn't have like any friends. Like I wouldn't talk to anyone. Maybe I would talk to my roommates. But I would kind of just like, I'd go to class, I would be whoever I needed to be at that moment to get through it, kind of thing like that. Like, during classes, like I didn't want to raise my hand, even if I knew the answer. Like I would do the stereotypical, like I would write the answer in my notebook and I would just be like, yeah, that was it. Like I just didn't want to do things like that. And then just meeting some good people, it kind of like gave me confidence in myself, I think. And like now I'm just like, hey, like I'd rather be who I am and be wrong in something than being than pretending to be something else. Like I'm very comfortable in my skin now, and I do think college helped me with that. Like, I mean, I don't really care what people think now. Like, yeah, I'm gonna, like if you guys have been on the camera, like you see me doing a bunch of weird stuff everywhere, and I don't really know what's going on, and like with the questions too, like I have no shame admitting that I don't know anything. Like someone like asked me a question, like I'm pretty sure like Annika's asked me some questions about like math, and I'm just like, I don't know. Like I'm like, but I do know that I can point you in the direction of someone who knows. Like, yeah, don't be afraid to admit that you don't know something, because that means that you can learn it now, and that's cool. Like, don't just go by pretending like you know stuff. Like, it's okay. Yeah,
absolutely. That's life or death. Sometimes it's better to say I don't know, but I need to know and I want to learn.
Like Donald Trump.
Okay, Annika. How about you, Annika? What are you learning from your peers?
So I think I learned a lot from my peers. Like I know I don't really like I just like observe. I observe like their habits and how their schedules are structured, and I compare it to my own and see how is mine working for me, and what do they do that I think is a good idea that I should do. So then like I don't think you guys realize it, like, but I observe everyone who comes into the nest kind of and see how they do academics or how they do time management or how they make meals or meal prep or bring snacks in. So I'm not only learning how to do things like time management wise and as a student, but also like adulting things because I never had to like make dinner every night and actually go grocery shopping for myself. And now that I am, I kind of think back like, oh yeah, this and this person made this food. Maybe I could try making that food. or like, oh, well, they were talking about how they did this and this, maybe I could do that as well. So I just observe a lot, and I get a lot of habits from my peers that I think is like very helpful and useful for me. I just expose myself too, by the way. So yeah.
Excellent.
Anna could be watching.
Yeah. And such good advice from everybody. Thank you very much, UC Davis students, for sharing your time today in the middle of what I know are very busy academic schedules. We send our love out to you for that. Thank you to Michelle for hosting these events. And thank you very much to our admitted students for spending time with us. We wish you a very good spring term. We know it's weird. It's weird for everybody. We so look forward to meeting you. I hope that you choose Davis. Please let us know if you have any questions, and we will very much look forward to the day where we can all be together and celebrate each other soon. Okay, so thank you so much. We will end the program now, and we'll be posting these conversations, plus additional opportunities coming up in spring quarter on the Native Nest site. So check your email. We'll send you some follow-up. Okay. Love to everybody. Catch you later. Bye.